Hey there everybody, Steve Billington with Trash Panda Decals, and today I'm here to talk to you about the aluminum tournament identifiers that I've been making and that you've probably been seeing on Facebook, and maybe you have some questions about them. So stay tuned. So I'll ask you to forgive me for two things. One, my voice. Clearly I was sick. It's messing up my voice pretty good, but I'm getting a lot of questions about these, so I wanted to get this video out to you. The second thing is my messy garage. There's a lot of projects going on. The main one right now is getting new wheel bearings on this trailer, but like I said, I was sick, so I digress. So aluminum identifiers are exactly what they sound like. These are your printable identifiers, but instead of being on paper that gets wet, needs to be constantly replaced, it's a waste of paper. It consumes the resource. So these are made of aluminum. So as you can see, let me put one of these down here. We'll use the Moyak one. So as you can see on the back here, it's aluminum. It's not very thick, so it's super lightweight. And the way that these are made is a process called sublimation. And basically what that means is I take the designs, I print them with a special ink. That ink converts to gas during the pressing process and becomes part of the metal. So you're not going to clean this off with like your rubbing alcohol or whatever. This is part of the metal. Now, like it says in my care instructions, if you take a coin or something and attack this thing like a rabid raccoon, you will eventually tear into the metal far enough to tear into the design. But don't do that. So you fill these out with a Sharpie, just like you would your paper identifier. And then when you're done, you clean them off with alcohol. Something like nail polish. I always say this word wrong. I use isopropyl alcohol wipes. They're basically cleaning wipes for like computer screens. And they work perfectly on this to get the Sharpie back off of there. And they don't affect the finish. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Speaking of the finish, it's UV coated. So it's going to hold up to the sun. You can see from my LED lighting, you can get a reflection out of them. Direct sunlight, like the sun's beating straight on it, may wash it out a little bit. Just adjust the angle. It's really no different than your standard identifier in a plastic pouch where the sun reflects off of it. It's really not a big deal at all. So they're super durable. They work for, let me move these. They work for catch and the catch boards and the leaderboards. My catch board's somewhere, but I have my leaderboard sitting here. So we talked about let's turn this around. I'm trying to whip myself with the tether. We talked about the identifier card. I'm also offering what I'm calling a sponsor brand card. But really, that second card can be anything that you want. I'm using it to showcase my sponsors, my personal brands, and just think about how great that is. In every photo of a fish that you submit, not only is your identifier there, but so are your sponsors, your brand, picture of your cat, whatever you want to put on there. I really could put a picture of your cat on there. So, which brings me to a question I've got a couple of times. Their question was, will I put anything on there? I'm big on First Amendment, so I'm not really going to restrict you. I'll put whatever you want on there. It's your responsibility to make sure that that's okay with your club, your sponsors, whatever. So I'll pretty much put anything on your identifier you ask me to, as long as it's not like racial, hateful, something like that. You'd have to send me something pretty offensive for me to say no. The way they attach is with Velcro. The Velcro is included in your order. Let me pull one off here. It's just standard Velcro on the back. I do not use the small Velcro circles that the leaderboard uses. If you would like to use those to attach your identifier to your leaderboard, you're going to have to supply your own Velcro for that. I just provide standard Velcro for attaching your cards. And that's pretty much it. I mean, these things are pretty legit. So the card itself is 3 inches by 4 inches, which means that your identifier itself is actually slightly larger for the most part than it would be on printed paper. There are some identifiers that actually work out to be the same size as on printed paper. It really just depends on how your club has set up their identifier. But it's really just a clean Nice way to have your identifier, your sponsors, whatever you want there. And they're pretty reasonably priced. So right now, if you just want an identifier card, it'll cost you 15 bucks. If you want an identifier card and a sponsor brand card, it'll cost you 20 bucks. I'm not promising that those prices won't go up in the future. It's entirely possible. But right now, it's a pretty fair price for you guys, a pretty fair price for me, and it's working out pretty good. We've sent quite a few of these out already. I'm really happy with the response that we've gotten. So I hope I've answered any questions you guys might have. That's pretty much all the questions that I have gotten is how to write on them, how to clean them, and what I'll put on them or what I can put on them. I can put any club's identifier on these things. I can put literally anything you want pretty much on the secondary card. If you want multiple cards, so like let's say you want a camo identifier and a sponsor card, but you also want a KBF identifier, a MOYAK identifier, or whatever. So when you get to the order form, just select whether it's a single pair, whatever you want to pick. And then when you get to the actual club identifier, it'll let you select multiple. And then I'll just work it out on the back end. So like if you select, say, single, which is 15 bucks for a MOYAK card, and then you also want a camo card, so you chose single, it's $15, but you're ordering two, I'll just make that a pair order, which makes it 20 bucks. If you're getting a camo identifier and a sponsor card, and then you also want a MOYAK card and a KBF card, the first two cards are gonna be under that $20, and then all the additional ones that you want are just gonna be 15 bucks each. So I hope that that makes sense. I'm trying to kind of tweak the form a little bit. It's set up pretty smooth for the vast majority of orders. There's just been a couple of orders that are a little more custom, but we can tweak that. If the form confuses you, feel free to hit me up on Facebook, shoot me an email, trashpandadecals@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me if the order form isn't quite working for what you want or if you have questions, and I'll help you out. What else did I want to say? Turnaround time. So turnaround time right now, from the time that somebody says yes to the proof, like I've sent them what I've designed, they've said yes, it's time to print it, for the most part has been from the time they tell me it's good to the time it ships is usually 24 hours. So if you tell me Friday night, I'm probably going to get it out Saturday morning in the mail for you. That may change. The lead times might get longer as these things get more popular, but I will do my best to get these designed, approved, printed, and on their way to you as fast as humanly possible. The last thing is payment. People have asked me about that. You can pay with PayPal, Venmo, credit card, debit card. I think pretty much virtually any payment that's out there. It's just a link that I'll send you. You click on that, it's a PayPal link, and it'll open up and give you all your different options. Pretty easy there. Shipping is USPS, comes in a nice padded envelope. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And again, these are pretty slick. You're gonna wanna get some. Get them while they're hot.